saying that I'm really glad you guys already made the right choice and decided to come to Prague or join us online, of course. And as you probably know, Prague is no stranger to all kind of Bitcoin firsts. The first Bitcoin hardware wallet, the very first Bitcoin mining pool, and the city is also a home to the largest and most popular Bitcoin conference in Europe. And I assume that maybe on your way here, you might have been thinking, how the hell has the Czech Republic, a tiny country in the middle of Europe, known at best for beer and ice hockey, become so prolific when it comes to Bitcoin and crypto innovations? Well, Czechs have historically grown a pretty strong skepticism towards the establishment. It truly runs deep in our DNA. And today I would like to talk about why that is. Our story begins 70 years ago. So after the Second World War, the communists seized power. The free market was completely eliminated. Whole industries nationalized, economy centrally planned, and freedoms crushed under one-party regime. So that's our backdrop. But let me take you back specifically to the events of May 1953. Imagine you wake up one day and all your savings are gone. Well, that was the reality for 12 million of Czechs and Slovaks whose savings disappeared overnight. And by the way, hundreds of my colleagues in this room don't even have to imagine it. They can still ask their parents or grandparents, because this is a still living memory. So on Friday, May 29th of 1953, the Czechoslovak president goes live on national radio and says these exact words: "Our currency is strong. There will be no monetary reform. These are just lies spread by the glass enemies." Well, in reality, the country has been actually speeding into an irreversible bankruptcy for many months already, and signs of that could be felt by the ordinary people. And yet, the Communist ruling party decides to lie about this all the way to the finish line. And incredibly enough, the next day, that is literally in the next 24 hours, the Prime Minister announces the so-called monetary reform, which is nothing else than a euphemism for a robbery of a century at this point. Because overnight, the Czechoslovak koruna becomes invalid and needs to be exchanged by everybody by a new currency that got printed in the Soviet Union in the meantime. The catch? Well, the exchange rates are absolutely brutal. So each person could only exchange a tiny amount of cash, 300 korunas, which would be something like $100 of today's value, at a rate 5-to-1, meaning you give 300 and you get only 60 back. Now, bank deposits of both individuals and businesses were treated even more harshly, progressively all the way up to 50-to-1, meaning you would retain only a few % of that value. And most shockingly, the financial products that you would rely on the most, the state-issued bonds, time deposits, and life insurances were voided completely without any compensation whatsoever. And as a result, 98% of people's savings simply disappeared, and billions of Czechoslovak korunas were wiped out from the market. And here's the irony, because it was not the elites that were hit the hardest by this reform. It was the working men and women, the very same people the regime claims to represent. And when they spoke up, their riots were violently crushed. People got imprisoned and people got killed. So to summarize, it's probably not a huge surprise that Czechs remember this story all too well. It's a lesson that if you don't control your money, you don't really own it. It took another 40 years, including an occupation of Soviet Union armies in 1968, before we finally regained our democracy in 1989. And let me use this beautiful, beautiful symbolism, because during the revolution in 1989, the jingling of the keys became the message for the communists to finally go home. And it's only fitting that fast forward another 20 years, some skeptics of the establishment sitting in this very room were looking for ways to securely store and use easily private keys from this new breakthrough of a money technology called Bitcoin. And that's where the Trezor story begins. And while we are rightfully credited with building the first ever hardware wallet, it is a lesser-known fact that we created something else at the same time that has proven to be even more impactful when it comes to Bitcoin and crypto usability. And 300 million people use it today to self-custody their Bitcoin and their crypto. And of course, I'm talking about the wallet backup. Literally, half of the industry uses a standard that allows them to back up their private keys in an easy-to-understand and a human-readable format. And by the way, I'm not saying this just to flex. I do say it to flex a little bit, but mainly to bring to everyone's attention that this format, this standard, is completely open source. And therefore, any of those 300 million users don't have to trust me, they don't have to trust Trezor, and they don't have to trust any of the companies that have implemented the standard. And thanks to its interoperability, they can move to any software or hardware interface as they wish and still retain a full ownership of their assets. So why am I saying all this? What is the morale of this whole story? Well, I believe there are at least three lessons learned. Whether you like it or not, history does repeat itself. Many could probably argue that the world has moved on and grown up, so to speak, and these things can't truly happen again. Well, in reality, in this century alone, at least 8 countries have introduced some kind of confiscatory monetary reforms or mismanaged their debt so badly that it led to hyperinflation and that it led to destroying people's savings. And if you think this applies to low or middle income countries only, then think again. Because 700 private banks went out of business, again, in this century alone. And let's not forget how this whole industry started with the fall of Lehman Brothers and the subsequent meltdown of the financial markets in 2008. And most sadly, 20 countries today, as we speak, are in some kind of open hostility with each other. And you can, by the way, add another 25 if you count in those that are also fighting internally. Nobody could have really imagined there would be a raging war just 1,500 kilometers east of Prague in Europe. And yet, here we are. The so-called paper Bitcoin. When you buy an ETF, you don't really own the underlying asset. You just get an access to a tradable security, to a piece of digital paper. It is not Bitcoin, and it comes with hefty fees. And by the way, this risk does not exist because crypto would be failing, but precisely the opposite. You know, Bitcoin has been labeled, as we all know, by the traditional finance world for the last 15 years as a Ponzi scheme and as a drug money. But somehow, the $2.2 trillion in market capitalization changed everybody's mind, and now the TradFi wants to make business out of it by being the intermediary. So the claim, know your keys, Let you read that. Not your coins. It's actually true more than ever. And finally, as we've seen over and over again, centralization of power is never a good idea. Just recently, we experienced the Bitcoin all-time high, but not only Bitcoin, because hackers had their all-time high as well. And $1.5 billion worth of Ethereum got stolen in one single attack on a huge custodian. And these institutions are obviously a massive honeypots for hackers, and since security is a moving target, it is not going away. But you know, in spite of all this redness behind me, I'm not here to scare you. Quite the opposite. My grandparents in 1953 didn't have choice. They didn't have Bitcoin, and they didn't have the means to adequately protect it. But today we do. And what you do is who you are. And we at Trezor are ultimately a freedom technology company. We exist to give you tools that protect what is truly yours and should stay yours. We are here to make sure that those events in 1953 won't happen to anyone ever again. And therefore, if you choose sound money over an inflationary nonsense, and if you choose transparency over obscurity, and if you choose true ownership over dependency, and finally, if you choose freedom for your money and ultimately for yourself, then you choose the most secure hardware wallet in the world today. And we call it Trezor Safe 7.
Weakest, forward, money driven, major fraud, breathless, body, diamond, bones, wanna be it, wanna feel it. Money, power, I'm big, 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 but I'm big. Money, power, I'm big, 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 but I'm big, I'm big, I'm big, I'm big.
So what do you think? I gotta say, I do love a lot of things about this commercial, but let's talk about some of them. So Trezor Safe 7 is the most technologically advanced and the most beautiful, if you ask me, hardware wallet that we have ever built. It features the first ever auditable secure element. It has been 5 years in the making. But let's pause here for a second and let's talk about why is this such a big deal. So the most precious thing that your hardware wallet stores is the private key. Now, secure elements are chips that are designed to protect that secret. You can think about them as a physical vaults inside of your hardware wallet. And if somebody gets an access to it, they plug it into a computer, they probe the circuits, or they even try to take it apart, secure elements are designed to withstand those kind of attacks. And by the way, you most likely use already secure elements in your daily life. They are in your passport, your SIM card, and all your credit cards. But these secure elements are closed sourced. So what's the problem with that? Well, if we as a company find any vulnerability with that specific chip, we cannot really talk about it with you, our customers, or with anybody else in the industry. And that's where Tropic 01 changes this paradigm completely. It is the first ever auditable secure element in the world, and as such can be reviewed by thousands of security experts out in the open. Now, Trezor Safe 7 is also the first wireless device that we have built. It's designed for flexibility, so you can manage your Bitcoin and crypto anytime, anywhere, and finally, on any device. So usability got a major upgrade here as well, and specifically for the device, we built a custom-made, high-resolution, edge-to-edge, and very bright display in the iconic Trezor shape. Longevity has been a big topic for many people in 2025, but has actually always been very crucial for a hardware wallet design. And therefore, Safe 7 is powered by lithium iron phosphate battery. And if you've never heard it before, that's because the battery we have chosen gives you 4 times more charging cycles. It takes 4 times slower to self-discharge, meaning it will hold power for longer, and can be safely drained all the way to the zero. So you don't have to worry about any damage, and whenever you want to charge the device again, you can do that and you're good to go. Obviously, the device supports Bitcoin, Ethereum, and thousands of other cryptocurrencies. You can easily connect to a broad range of third-party wallets, including DeFi platforms, dApps, and NFT marketplaces. And before I go, I have one more powerful feature and one more powerful message for you. Trezor Safe 7 is the first hardware wallet in the world that is ready for the post-quantum future. But let me be honest here, there are smarter people to talk about security and why open source matter. And therefore, let me welcome Tomas Susanka, the CTO of Trezor and my closest partner in crime for the last 7 years. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. It's true, me and Matej, we joined the company 7 or 8 years ago, and it's been quite a journey ever since. You know what? Let's have a look. In 2013, we introduced the first ever hardware wallet, the Trezor Model 1. And from day one, we built it on strong principles of full transparency. This means that our code is publicly available on GitHub for anyone to see and investigate. This is the principle of trustlessness. You don't have to trust us, me, governments, institutions, or your favorite three-letter agency. You can trust the code itself and the process behind it. In 2018, we followed up on our story and introduced a Trezor Model T. And the following year, we wanted to improve the physical security of the device by adding a so-called secure element. A secure element are specially designed hardware chips that are meant to store any secrets that you give it to them in a secure manner. We investigated a number of them and finally ended up with one strong candidate. However, we found out a number of security issues that made the chip completely useless. In other words, we completely took the chip apart. We didn't have to use any complex hardware equipment, just few very clever cryptography tricks, and the chip gave out all of its secrets. We, of course, reported these findings to the vendor, but there was no interest in any collaboration, but more importantly, zero desire to communicate these findings to the public or to their customers. As we had to sign an NDA just to obtain the samples, we couldn't tell the public either. We couldn't tell anyone. Ironically, at that time, most of our competitors were bragging about their security while using this very same broken chip, and we couldn't tell them. This was the moment when we realized that our ideals of transparency and open sourceness simply clash with the harsh reality of the hardware chip industry. For Safe 3 and Safe 5, we were lucky enough to find an NDA-free secure element that did withstand our rigorous testing and security evaluation. But our ambitions were bigger than that. We wanted something more. And that's why already in 2020, our founders co-founded a dedicated company called Tropic Square. And their goal was simple. It was to achieve the first ever transparent and auditable secure element. Many believe that this is not possible, but I'm more than proud to say that Tropic 01 is part of Safe 7. Now, two things have drastically changed. Number one, independent researchers from all around the world can obtain the chips, investigate their security, and simply publish their findings. They don't have to sign mountains of legal documents just to get the chip. They can simply get them, do the security work, and publish their findings. This is indeed a major shift in the industry. And number two, no one is going to lie to you about its security. You don't have to trust me on that. You can now verify. So you may be thinking what this chip can actually do. So let me share a few words on that. So first of all, it has a unique pin verification engine, where the number of pin tries is guaranteed by the hardware directly, not by the software. In most competitors, the number of tries is guaranteed by software, but with Tropic 01, it is the hardware itself. In other words, it is physically impossible to exceed the number of pin tries. On top of that, it has a fully open source cryptography engine, giving you the ability to verify its security. And finally, a number of physical protections securing your wallet. In case your Trezor is being actively attacked, Tropic's detectors will fire an alarm, erasing all of its secrets. We didn't stop there. Choices matter, and we wanted to have the ultimate security in Safe 7. That's why, for the first time, we're introducing a dual secure element architecture, where the Tropic 01 is accompanied by another secure element, the NDA-free Optiga Trust M that you can find in a Safe 3 and Safe 5 for the ultimate security. We mastered the physical security. Now, how about the wireless one? Well, we've done that too. We could have relied just on the Bluetooth security, but then again, choices matter. Introducing Trezor Host Protocol. Trezor's protocol is not just another layer of encryption on top of Bluetooth. It gives you a full control over which applications and which devices can connect to your Trezor. It shields your Trezor against any attackers. It ensures secure communication in the rare occurrence that Bluetooth itself would get compromised. In the beginning, we talked about the past. Now let's talk about the future. Whether you like it or not, the quantum computers are becoming a real thing and will become an eventual threat. And we at Trezor decided to act on it. Trezor Safe 7 is the first ever quantum-ready hardware wallet. Now, let me pause here just for a second, because let's face it, no one actually understands quantum computers. I want to share a few thoughts on that. Bitcoin and other crypto projects are not ready for the quantum threat. I'm glad that the discussion, however, is slowly ramping up, and it is something that I strongly believe we will have to tackle in the following decade or two. And we at Trezor have been thinking what we can do already as of now. With Safe 7, we introduced two changes in our We've introduced two modifications in our manufacturing process. First of all, the bootloader. Bootloader is a tiny code that is running your firmware. And this bootloader is now being signed with so-called post-quantum algorithm, an algorithm that is not vulnerable to quantum computers. In case the threat is imminent in the future, we can provide an update to your Safe 7 in a quantum safe manner. And secondly, authenticity check has been improved in a very similar way. Authenticity check is the feature that proves your device to be genuine. And we now also use a post-quantum signature. In other words, we can prove your device to be genuine even in case quantum computers are around the corner. The other parts, such as firmware and suite, are upgradable, and we can upgrade them when the threat is imminent. So allow me to recap our security choices. The first ever transparent and auditable secure element. Private and encrypted connection using the Trezor host protocol. And finally, hardware wallet with quantum-ready preparations. And how all of this fits in such a beautiful device, here's Adam, head of product, to tell you more.
Thank you, Sushi. Quantum readiness proves we are building products for tomorrow. But I'm here to tell you more about the new standard that we've set for today. Think about all the products we use every day. We listen to music on our wireless headphones. We tap our phones to pay, and we even charge our phones wirelessly. And that's because our world is wireless. And here's the thing. Our phones set an incredible high bar of build quality and durability. But when it comes to hardware wallets, the industry hasn't reached that level yet. So we ask ourselves, what would it take to reach that level of convenience, build quality, and durability? And I'm glad we have an answer. We've been working on something completely new, inspired by people like you, who are serious about their digital assets and refuse to accept anything but the best. It's been years in the making. I'm super proud of it, and it's extraordinary. Trezor Safe 7 is a result of thousands of choices, debates, and a commitment to a single vision. I want to show you the three most important choices we made, the ones that truly defined this product. The first choice was clear. It had to be fully wireless, and we wanted to make it right. So we engineered a truly multi-platform wireless experience. We chose Bluetooth as a connection, giving you the freedom to link it to any device you own, if it's your phone, your tablet, or even your desktop computer. And all of that protected by our end-to-end encrypted Trezor host protocol. This full wireless experience is completed with our Qi2-compatible wireless charging, with aligning magnets that snaps perfectly onto the charger every time. Our second choice was about the build quality itself. And I believe that something as personal as hardware wallet has to be solid, lasting, and a true object of power. And to deliver that flagship feel, the material choice was clear. We wanted a combination of a durable metal and a beautiful glass. But we went beyond just the material choice. We insisted on a true unibody, crafted from a single solid piece of anodized aluminum. And that means there are no screws, no split lines, just seamless strength. But manufacturing vendors told us it's too difficult, it's too expensive, and some of them even impossible. They pushed us to compromise, but we refused. We pushed back until one of them finally achieved it. And suddenly, the impossible became a new standard. But of course, metal unibody naturally blocks all the wireless connectivity. So how do you get the signal through it? And we solved that with a durable glass backplates, created using a complex method called NCVM. We vaporize an actual metal onto the glass in 14 different layers, where every layer has its own properties, giving the glass a surface finish that's not only beautiful, but allows for all the wireless connectivity. And we didn't stop there. Trezor Safe 7 is also water and dust resistant, certified for IP54. But don't worry, I'm sure it will probably not survive your boating accidents. The front side is protected by our custom-shaped Trezor display, made out of durable Gorilla Glass. And that brings me to our third choice, the lasting experience itself. A great device deserves a great display. And that's not something you can just buy off the shelf somewhere on the market. You have to design it from scratch. But for most companies, that's not a usual choice. For us, this was a no-brainer. Designing the display on our own allowed us to fit much larger screen into already well-known and trusted Trezor shape. The result is 2.5-inch high-resolution color touchscreen that's 62% larger than our previous model. It makes it super easy to read every detail of your transaction, which is the most critical moment of self-custody. But the experience is not just visual. We pair the custom screen with a precise haptic feedback and status LED, making every interaction responsive and gives you instant reassurance. We obsessed over every detail, over every component, and especially over the battery. For a wireless device, battery is one of the most critical components. And when the device protects all of your digital assets, standard battery is not good enough. So we took the time to find a special battery. The one that's not a common choice, but it is absolutely the right one for hardware wallet. It's battery designed to survive a years of use without you ever needing to worry about it. It has 4 times lower self-discharge compared to standard batteries. That means that the battery will stay safe even after long periods of hodling. And that is what lasting experience means for us. Every component is chosen because it's the right one. And for me, this is personal. Bitcoin has changed my life. And I believe that self-custody is the only way how I can protect what matters the most. And that's my future, future of my family, and especially future of my children. And if I couldn't trust the device with their future, then it's probably not good enough for you either. And that's the standard we hold ourselves to at Trezor. We are all Satoshi, but mainly we are all Trezor users. And we've built Trezor Safe 7 because it's a device we genuinely want to use ourselves, born from a deep belief in what we do. So next time, when you hold the device, you are not just holding hardware. You are holding our commitment. Commitment to a security without compromise, to a quality you can feel, and to an experience that is finally as seamless as the world we live in. And the same commitment runs through our software too. And to tell you more about this full experience, here is Danny.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you for showing us that beautiful device. It is truly a work of art. And I know how much blood, sweat, and tears have gone into this, creating this product. And I'm immensely proud to talk here. I'm here to talk more about the complete solution that Trezor has to offer for Trezor Safe 7 users. Because what makes Trezor Safe 7 truly powerful is the software ecosystem around it. We like to say that secure self-custody sets you free. But cold wallets are named cold for a reason. Often isolated, offline, stored away. To securely manage your crypto, you had to stay plugged in, bound by cables. And that comes at a cost. A cost of freedom, of portability, and of movement. So, what if the most secure device on the market today now finally moves with you? Ultimate protection, now on the go, to secure, to manage, and to connect from anywhere. Now, we don't advise to hang it around your neck on a beautiful necklace. We don't think that's the best security protocol. But we deeply care about the freedom you should have to decide how you want to use your device. And when we say from anywhere, we truly mean from anywhere. On desktop, or mobile, or tablet, our secure THP Bluetooth connection allows you to connect to anywhere. And if you want to use cable, that is also fine. Through USB-C, and you can turn off Bluetooth. So, now that we have that behind us, let's talk more about the software solutions. Our community knows our mobile app as Trezor Suite Lite. And today we have a bit of news. It is simply Trezor Suite. We are redefining our mobile experience. A powerful tool across desktop and mobile now. This is our commitment for a full feature-rich experience from anywhere. And people want to explore. But they want to explore securely the broader crypto world. So, I'm going to talk about two pillars in our ecosystem. We have Trezor Suite, our native flagship application to securely and directly manage your crypto. See it as your command center. And Trezor Connect. This is your secure bridge to the wider crypto world. See it as a gateway to any dApps. But first and foremost, your keys will never leave your device. And you always have your trusted screen to sign any transaction, no matter where you plug into. So, let's talk more about Trezor Suite. On mobile, it's a beautifully designed and engineered application. It is clean and simple to use. We are immensely proud of having this full-fledged solution out there. It brings powerful capabilities to your fingertips, wherever you are. Seamless and secure. So, if you want to check your portfolio, send and receive on the go. If you're at a party, you need to do a quick swap, you can just jump out and do that. You can trade with confidence. And it has Wallet Connect integrated with access to 70,000 plus dApps and blockade to securely monitor transactions from malicious actors. But first and foremost, unyielding Trezor security at heart. And the crypto world is vast. People want to do even more. They want to explore even more. Your Trezor Safe 7 connects now also in your favorite wallet. Today, I am happy to say that these leading software wallets have committed to integrate in their mobile apps Trezor Safe 7. These are the biggest wallets out there and allow you to venture out even more. They'll be ready by end of the year, and a part of them will already be available the first day Trezor Safe 7 ships. And this reinforces our open source ethos and open nature, that there are no walled gardens in our ecosystem. We have an open source SDK kit that any software wallet can freely integrate. One tap, all working together seamlessly. So, there you have it, our ecosystem. Trezor Safe 7 isn't just a device, it is the heart of a complete ecosystem, and you can choose direct management on mobile or desktop, or connect through secure access to a wider crypto world. It is yours to choose. Real control isn't just secure. It is mobile, it is effortless, and it is yours from anywhere. And with that, my part is securely locked away. And it's time to hand over the keys back to Matej for the final details of Trezor Safe 7.
Awesome. I promise this is the last time you see me on the stage. And I bet you are wondering when you can finally lay your diamond hands on this beautiful device. So let's talk about that. It comes in two beautiful colors and two beautiful names, the obsidian green and charcoal black. And finally, not only traditional finance is recognizing Bitcoin for its worth, but also consumer electronics brands are entering the Bitcoin space. And of course, we could not have stayed behind, and therefore, Safe 7 launches with the Bitcoin-only variant as well. And our most premium hardware wallets deserve a premium accessories as well. And therefore, we are bringing a whole range. The privacy screen, so nobody can see your stash. Flip case to protect this beautiful hardware. Wireless charger, because no more cables. And finally, a universal cover, not just for Safe 7, but any of your Trezor devices. I started this talk with the Bitcoin first, so let me wrap up with the Safe 7 first. So it features the first ever auditable secure element, and it makes it the most secure hardware wallet on the market today. It is also our first wireless device, so you can manage your Bitcoin and crypto anytime, anywhere, and from any device, but you can also use a cable if you wish. And finally, is the first hardware wallet on the market today that features the quantum-ready protections. How much, you ask? It retails at $249 US or euros, and it is available for the pre-orders right now. Actually, I checked on the backstage, and we already have some orders coming in, which is great. The production is ramping up as we speak, and the shipping starts in just 4 weeks. So we made our choices, and now it's time for yours. Thank you very much.